Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about what happened to the American Dream, the world's longest limousine, the Guinness World Record book holder. This was a photo taken in 2016 in its most decrepit state. Now, guys, this vehicle is quite frankly completely outrageous. You know, here in the United States, we have to make everything as big as possible, and when it comes to limousines, even though they have gone out of style recently, it is no different. There you can see three of the wheels missing. I mean, just look at the wheels in general. You've got three in the front, I believe six in the middle, and then three on the end, and then three on the end. But look at all the rust, look at all the windows beaten in. Now, when it comes to the American Dream, it is officially 100 feet long with 26 wheels, a helipad, which I think, the helipad is just completely useless. You could utilize that space with such better things other than a helicopter pad on a limousine. Also, a jacuzzi, multiple interior rooms. Unfortunately, just looking at it, we do understand there's going to be big problems when it comes to driving the American Dream, specifically turning it. It did not get much use because you had to plan out where you were driving it, and you could only drive it in specific locations where turns could be made. So the massive limo did sit abandoned and start rusting away. But back in May of 2020, it was announced that the American Dream limousine would be moved in two parts to Florida for restoration. And it's funny because when they drove it down to Florida, the hood of the Cadillac limousine actually flew off, but they have been able to restore it, completing the restoration process in 2022. Now, when it comes to the interior of the limousine, this is what it originally looked like, and there is a few different photos of it looking completely decrepit, completely hollowed out. There's actually a YouTube video on it. I'm not going to show the video, but you can see just the screenshot of what the interior of the massive limo looks like. I think limousines nowadays are a little bit underrated, but I can understand why they have gone out of style. They were once grandiose, but now they just are a bit oversized, and they are very annoying to drive and maneuver around. When it comes to the hot tub, certainly it's a cheap hot tub. Let's just call it what it is there towards the end. It's cool that there's actually a hot tub. I would prefer it to be indoors personally, although I understand wanting to have the outdoor vibe. I do wonder how dangerous that would actually be, being in the hot tub while the car is actually in motion. Imagine it coming to a quick stop. Half of the water is flying out of it along with the person inside of the jacuzzi. It certainly is a low budget jacuzzi. Again, imagine if it was fully closed, like the entire limo's fully enclosed. I think that would make it look so much more daunting and so much more massive. And you put the jacuzzi fully enclosed and then maybe give the jacuzzi a sunroof, like a big sunroof that you can open, and also the windows that you can open out. That would be a little bit better when it comes to possibly installing a jacuzzi on a limousine. But obviously, this is completely ridiculous. You can take a look at some other interior photos. Certainly, limousines are cool. I'm surprised there's not a bed in this limousine. Or maybe there actually is, and I just didn't see the interior photo of it. You would certainly think there would be. And yeah, that when it comes to the helipad, it's basically the equivalent of having an elevator in a mansion. Look, I love mansions, I get it, but it just doesn't make sense to have an elevator in a mansion when mansions are, 3, 4, maybe 5 stories high at the most, and having a helicopter pad, it's just a waste of space. You could utilize that area for so much more than, just some type of luxury flex that's not even going to be used. It's just an impractical idea, but either way, it does have the helipad, and it has been restored. As you can see, the tinted windows, the black going around the tops of the windows. It looks very nice after the restoration period. There it is, completely hollowed out, cut in half. That's how they were able to transport it to Florida during the restoration, and it took 2 years after it had been abandoned. And the thought process on why it went abandoned, again, it's kind of obvious considering how massive it is. It's very hard to drive in general, and at a certain point, nobody wants to use it. It just sits collecting dust and starts to rust completely. The windows get shattered. Oh, look at that. That's AI's version of a Grand Limousine. Yeah, you're not going to be able to drive that. That thing would take up the entire road. That is a massive monster truck. Apparently, this also includes a putting green that I'm guessing you can move the putting green over the jacuzzi and kind of use it that way. But the putting green itself is also, not very practical considering you're not going to be able to use it when the car is moving. But either way, I can respect something like this. It is a massive, massive limo, the biggest limo in the history of the world, and it has been restored. This is a Mustang. Dude, this looks so ugly. It's Mustang limousine abandoned randomly right next to, looks like a little wooded area. That's a creepy looking vehicle. That really is. Imagine seeing that at night in a barn, in an old barn, just a full black. It's a weird one. Look at this one in the snow. It's got a little upper area too, so you can stand up. Are those all doors? It's like 5 straight doors that open. You see all the handles there. And I mean, the upper area, it's nice because it raises the ceiling a little bit if you're on the interior of it. This is the one that I was talking about, the biggest limousine, split up into 2 parts, just rusting away. I mean, where do you store it? It's just rusting away, completely open to the elements. There's another rare photo I was able to find of it. Oh, this is one of those Ford limousines. Yeah, apparently this was abandoned and homeless people were living inside of it. Oh, they painted it pink. Yeah, the Ford ones, it's like a Ford truck limousine. I don't think they necessarily look too good. This is an old abandoned limousine, the interior of it. It still looks pretty decent on the interior. Look at that old TV there. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. That is the story of the biggest limousine in the history of the world, abandoned and then restored. Make sure you're following me on X. Link to that's always in the description.